coming to something like this and meeting the other Europeans, you really realise that you are part of Europe.
There are 27 different countries with different cultural backgrounds, and it's interesting the convergence of opinions across Europe, which, not that long ago was completely divided.
I was pretty sceptical at first when we did the whole weekend in Dublin Castle. I didn't really know what was going to be brought to this, but it's good to see solid recommendations, and they seem to be elaborating on them as well here as well, like a lot of the different nationalities that have good opinions on.
Again, introduce yourself and your comment interest.
Stedet enten i Strasbourg eller her i Bruxelles.
Prevede una Carta dei diritti fondamentali.
Let me go down, please.
What strikes me for a long time now.
Thank you.
Your recommendations include, as has been discussed here, tackling global warming, phasing out fossil fuels, a common healthcare system, harmonized labor standards across the EU, combat social inequalities, etc. I suspect some of these recommendations came as a surprise to some politicians and to some member states, including the idea of a European identity card. But that's good. Without ideas and visions, suggestions and solutions like the ones you've discussed, politics won't develop.
Quite well, in 2005, we had the summit in December on the financial perspective 2007-2030.
What we want is ethical behaviour and significantly more transparency from politicians. And I think if that was achieved, it would certainly reduce the disconnect between our politicians in Europe and the citizens at home.
Our European Union is not just a geographical organization or a political organization, it's a community which is based on values.
There is an understanding that Europe has to do more. We are doing everything we can now, with the means we have at the European level, to work with our member states to respond to this economic and financial crisis.
When we came up with our 10 recommendations in Dublin, we were wondering, are any of these even going to get to Europe? And almost all of our recommendations were there in one way or other. They reflected completely how the Irish people felt, which for me means that we think Europeans and Europeans think like we do.
It shows some way that Europeans, people in the street, are out there, whether in Ireland or elsewhere, willing to engage if the system some way is willing to loosen out a bit and engage with them. This is not in competition to politics, but it's a way of deeply enhancing it by actually giving people a sense that they too can be players and that it doesn't happen only in Brussels or only in institutions.
Between the two events, they've restored my faith in the whole theory or the whole idea of democracy. Before I used to think there was people out there making decisions on my behalf and I had no say. But coming to the forum and doing what we did, it gives us a voice.
We'll be following with interest how our recommendations progress over the next number of years.